Thank you very much. It is a very great honor to be invited from Taiwan Philosophy Study Institute to share my work experience on environmental education. My organization, we are human rights-based organization. We are working promoting ecosystem approach, focus with the right of small-scale fisheries, and then promote cooperation among different stakeholders. When we are talking about the ocean, it is not only the ocean, but it is more of the ecosystem approach. So that is the organization. And we are being fed. Oh, it is not, it's okay. Is it okay? Yeah. Okay, next.
大家好，非常荣幸受到台湾公益研究会的邀请，来与大家分享有关环境教育的相关议题。可以来只是参与我们本次的全球海洋永续环境论坛。我的组织是永续发展协会，那我们主要是在推广一些在永续发展相关的工作。
We all are being faced with a great challenge in global environment degradation. The destruction of ecosystem, habitat destruction, the extinction of the wildlife, the pollution of water, among many others. This will lead to the reduction of capacity of environment to meet social and ecological objective needs.
那我们现在人类社会当中，其实面临许多相关有关全球环境退化、劣化的诸多挑战，举凡是生态系统的毁坏，以及栖息地的破坏等等，以及野生动植物以及水类的污染，我们都遭受许多面临相当多的威胁。
Rapid ocean degradation may get our attention for different reasons. The fact remains that a consistent increased level of the pollutant has degraded water bodies across the world to the level of irreparable damage. Study explained that 80% of the marine pollution organized on land in different forms of pollutant, mostly as the result from various human activities. Plastic contamination poses the biggest threat.
关于海洋退化这个议题呢，在今日取得所有观众、社会大众的一些瞩目。但是其实海洋污染造成海洋水域退化情形的情况呢，逐日升高。那相关研究指出，80%的海洋污染物其实来自陆地，那是有各种不同形式而来，那都是与人类的活动相关。塑胶类的污染物其实对人类社会造成相当大的威胁。
There is a foundation relationship between human being and nature. At present, the natural environment are being in the service of human needs. Human has a responsibility to not only fulfill a function meeting the needs of the individual, such as survival, reproduction, growth, but also function to contributing value to the ecosystem and humans, including non-physical aspects like beauty, peace of mind, and so forth.
因此，我们可以了解到人类自然的关系是紧密连结。因此，在这紧密连结当中，目前呢，现有的环境社会其实是相当于在服务我们人类的需求。那人类除了必须满足自身生长、生存以及繁衍的需求之外，其实我们应该有义务去为我们的自然做出尽一份心力，维持自然的美好。
Before I touch on an education part in which I was invited for this purpose, I would like to highlight some of the more issues of ocean deterioration, in which will be used as the basis to make education, addressing growing concern about accelerating deterioration of human environment and natural resource and its consequences for economic, social, and cultural development.
待会稍后我会讲到稍微关于环境教育的部分。不过在这之前，我想要强调目前人类所遇到关于一些海洋恶化的一些现象。那其实这些现象可以当做我们未来进行环境教育的相关的基础。我们希望透过环境教育的方式呢，来让人类知道相关的环境恶化、劣化的方式是对经济、社会及文化发展带来相当大的威胁。
Major issues that I would like to highlight here in this forum is the issue of overfishing. There is a very big issue in which cause the worst impact humans are having on the ocean. The Food and Agriculture Organization estimates that over 70% of the world's species have been entirely exploited or depleted by capturing fish faster than they can reproduce. We are harming entire ecosystems that interact with those species, from the food they eat to the predators that eat them. These losses make the ecosystem more vulnerable to other disturbances such as pollution.
首先我要提到有关环境议题是过度捕捞的现象。过度捕捞其实是一个相当严重的问题，它冲击了人类以及冲击了海洋。根据联合国粮食及农业组织预估呢，现在所有全球的人类鱼类70%是受到滥捕的情况。那滥捕的话，如果鱼类繁衍的速度低于它们被捕捉的速度的话，我们就会破坏整个生态系统，以及它与生态系统相关互动的一些物种。那从上至下，从鱼类的生物到顶端的捕食者都会受到影响。那这样的损失呢，都会让整个生态系统更让相关的环境干扰现象而受到冲击，包括说环境也会因此受到污染方面的加剧。
Irresponsible fishery farming, although we might sound like a good idea to respond to the rapid depredation of wild fish stock, unfortunately has many negative consequences due to poorly managed operation. Nutrient and chemical pollution can occur easily in open ocean operation when fish feed, excrement, and medical is released into the environment. Farm fish accidentally released into the wild population can also have destruction effects such as loss of native stock, disease transmission, and damaging challenge in the habitat.
紧接着下一个议题是管理不善、管理不良的养殖渔业状况。养殖渔业呢，虽然听起来一开始是一个好的想法，因为目前是渔获量能的鱼种，野生鱼种是急剧下滑跟下降。然而，由于管理不良的养殖渔业的作业，其实造成非常大的负面的影响。如果我们让一些营养物或者是一些化学物质从养殖渔业当中不慎排入到开放水域当中，那就会造成开放水域会造成相当大的污染。那如果渔民不慎将养殖的渔业流放入野生鱼群当中，也会造成非常破坏性的效果。比方说，有一些自然鱼群就会因此消失，或者是鱼群野生跟自然鱼群之间会有疾病传染的现象，或者呢就会整个大大的改变原本自然栖息地。
Related to fishing sector, there is another big issue on forced fishing. I don't know whether you have heard about that or not. This type of activity causes environmentally harmful due to loss on discarded fishing gear, continue to catch fish and other marine life.
另外一个议题就是说，我们在有跟养殖渔业或是捞捕渔业有关系的，就是所谓的回网啊，包括这个回网的这个智慧，大家有没有听过？回网其实是渔民们放弃以及丢弃在海底当中的相关渔具。那这些渔具呢，其实会持续的捕捉海底生物。
Garbage patch in the ocean is the most obvious issue. It's astounding how much of our fish find its way into the ocean. Animals become easily entangled and trapped in our garbage, and it can destroy delicate sea life like coral and prawns. Also, sea turtle and dolphin often mistake plastic bag for their favorite foods, jellyfish and squid, choking them or clogging their disgusting system.
另外，在海洋上的垃圾袋也是一个非常显而易见的议题。那我们可以发现，我们的生活当中很多垃圾都流入海洋当中，那相当的量是非常让人惊讶的。那海洋中的动植物就会因为这些垃圾而被缠住、被罩住、被困住了，那就会因此伤害相关的海洋生物，比方说珊瑚礁或是多孔生态。那我们可以常常看到海龟以及海豚都会因为将塑胶袋误认为它们的食物，就是他们会误认为这些是水母或者是乌贼等等，最终他们就会因为这些垃圾袋而受迫而亡。
Besides, there is an issue of ocean acidification, which become a threat to both marine life and human. Ocean acidification is the continuing decrease the seawater pH caused by the absorption of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Ocean acidification has the power to greatly endanger the life of marine organisms and also humans who depend on fish and fish products for their daily subsistence.
另外一个非常相当严重的问题就是所谓的海洋酸化。海洋酸化是会危及不仅是鱼类生物或者鱼类动植物，以及我们的人类。海洋酸化的因素是因为越来越多二氧化碳融入了海水当中，使得 pH 值持续下降。那 pH 值下降的话，就会大大的伤害动植物它们的生存的能力，那因此也会危害我们的鱼类产品等等的。
Dead zone, also another problem, are the area where the seafloor has little to do dissolve oxygen. These areas are often found in the mouth of the large river and the coast, primarily the fertilizers that are being carried in the runoff. Unfortunately, the lack of oxygen kills many creatures and destroys entire habitat.
另外一个海洋议题是学名为死亡区域。死亡区域其实是海床当中缺乏或是近乎没有溶氧量、没有氧气当中的海域。那这些海域常常是可以发现在大型出海口。那主要原因是因为人类将一些肥料或是污染物质从排水口排放出去。那不幸的是，海中缺氧的情形会扼杀许多生物，然后甚至整个灭除整个栖息地。
Mercury pollution. It is also reported that the level have been rising over 30% in the last 20 years. Offshore drilling, that is also another issue. Ocean warming is another raising issues. All of this is really danger, and then I don't think that general public aware about the problems.
接下来就是大致提到一下，包括汞污染。汞污染的其实汞含在海中海洋上，其实在过去几年还持续提升。要海上钻探以及相关的海洋氧化现象都是非常严重的，必须关切的问题。
And this also including the problem of oil spill, which is also a very large witness situation right now. So what we want to know and what I would like to highlight here is that what is all this happen? Is it because of the present development model? Are we questioning the trend of development at present? And need to arise with a collective vision among ourselves who are concerned on environment. What is really the future development that we want?
接下来在我们上述所提到的关于海洋的污染现象，这些许多都是有关人为造成的。因此，不是让我们质问我们现今的发展方向、发展模式是否可以因应我们未来的发展，或者我们必须质问说我们的共同愿景的共同意识，就是说我们希望我们的未来发展方向应该何去何从。
So now coming to the education part. Education have a very great role to play and contribute to the future sustainable prosperity. An educator has a big role to educate and inform people about the overgrowing threat at the present, as well as form collective future of sustainable prosperity we all want. Role of education is to contribute the future of sustainable democratic society. The vision and purpose of education and their role indicate the change which is necessary. The central role of education to sustain its future democratic destiny and social change.
已经有张主题带到关于教育的部分，那其实教育在扮演相当重要的角色，在所谓的未来的永续的龙井当中扮演相当重要的角色。一名教育家或是教育者，其实在扮演相当重要的角色当中，需要去教育人民，让人民知道说，其实未来我们现在所面临的威胁，以及未来关于未来永续龙井所面临的威胁有哪一些。那所教育所扮演的角色，是对未来所做出贡献，来维持一个永续的民主社会。那我们关于教育的愿景以及目的以及他们的角色，就是说我们必须指出我们什么时候需要做出改变，这是教育者所需要做的。而教育家所扮演的中心位置是会持续支持未来的民主社会以及民主变革。
Quality education ensures quality firmly within the framework of the democracy, human rights, and social justice, and standard setting text concerning education as a public responsibility. and the importance of education provision and education practices, which cover the full range of purpose education can serve preparation for the labor market, preparation for life as democratic citizens, personal development, and the maintenance and further development of the broad knowledge base.
另外，品质良好的教育制度呢，是需要有一个良好的框架来支持它，而这个框架包含着民主、人权、社会公益以及良好的标准文本。这些良好的标准文本需要教导我们何谓是公众的责任以及教育的重要性。这些教育的重要性要让我们知道说，我们教育有哪些目的，包括为了让劳工可以在劳动市场中做好准备所相关的教育，以及作为一个公民、作为市民，我们需要什么样的教育，以及哪些教育可以为我们的个人发展以及未来的永续维护做到一定的目的，我们需要相关的教育内容。
The both concerns are by nature transversion. Education for democracy cannot be regulated to the level and age of education, or formal rather than non-formal and informal education. Education for sustainability, fertility need to permeate all educational endeavor in all educational contexts. As the formal education setting, it cannot be placed into any one discipline or subject or need to be the living part on teaching and learning, be it in a classroom or in the social level or beyond.
关于永续教育，它其实本质上是横跨相当大的面向。那关于永续以及民主上的教育，我们不能只是限定某些年龄或是某些层级，或者是应该是要用在正式或是非正式的教育环境。那关于永续的教育，必须渗透所有的教育工作者以及所有的教育背景当中，无论是在正式的教育背景。他也许无法再放入任何一个正式的学问或主题，但是我希望呢，教育是一个生活中的部分，并且是可以在生活当中渗透，无论是在教室或在操场或是校园当中，都需要有相关的永续教育课题。
Therefore, when we conduct environmental education, one needs to address question: Are we doing the right thing and with education? Does our practice of education reflect and represent the vision of society we wish to promote? Which vision of society do we promote through current practices? We need to ask ourselves, do learners learn what is important for them today and for society of tomorrow? Are we preparing society based on living human rights, a culture of democracy, cooperation, and equity addressing environmental issues and problems? The world that is sustainable from an environmental point of view, but also economically and in the way our living together is structured and organized.
因此，我们在从事相关的环境教育的时候，我们必须扪心自问，我们可以达成相关的效果。我们要问自己一些问题。首先，我们就是有没有用教育做到正确的事？那我们的教育做法有没有办法反映现今我们的社会的愿景，以及我们想要提倡的一些主张？那我们的社会愿景跟主张是不是有透过现在正确的教育做法来经过提倡？那我们的学习者知不知道现今社会所面临的重要的议题是哪些，以及甚至是我们未来需要面对的挑战是哪些？我们是不是有帮我们的社会准备好一些关于人权、关于文化、关于民主、关于合作、关于平等的一些做法，来让我们共同解决所谓的环境议题以及环境的一些困境？那整个社会呢，关于永续，其实不足以在所谓的环境层面，在经济层面，我们也希望能共融。那透过相关的教育方式来达成经济层面以及环境层面都有相当好的永续架构。
The global challenge we face will require people with strong and well-developed competence for innovative and creativity. People who are able and inclined to think out of the box. We observe and analyze critically and to solve problems to collaborate, learning and working. People who can live and work in diverse team and social setting.
那关于教育，我会提到所谓我们需要哪些重要的人才来让我们可以因应未来这些重要挑战。首先，我们需要有强大意志以及发展良好的人才，他们有足够的创新与创意能力，可以跳出框架思考如何解决问题，以及他们有必要有 批判性的思考的方式来观察以及分析我们现今所面临的问题，并且透过共同合作与学习的方式来解决问题。那这些人需要能够在多环境、多背景的情况之下来协作来解决问题。
To address the aim of promoting sustainable ocean towards sustainability, we need to deeply think and reflect on education content and method on how we conduct education. We need to assess whether the way we conduct an education activity had to lead to awake the learner to be aware of global nature of our life. Also bring the finite nature of our planet to our consciousness. Finite environmental and finite social, cultural and economic production. Is it a time for educators to evaluate and assess the present education framework, whether we can continue with the economic growth model? Can we continue to measure progress in terms of gross domestic product in 1930 and of continuous economic growth, with the limit of this model becoming threatening clear as we move further into 21st century.
为了落实提倡所谓的永续海洋，甚至整体的地球永续性，我们必须深层思考以及反思我们目前的教育内容与教育方法是不是正确，是不是对的。我们必须评估我们做教育活动的方式是不是有办法唤醒学习者，让他认识到说，现在我们的地球、我们的生命、我们的自然，其实都是相当有限的。那现在教育者们也应该评估所谓的现在的教育框架、教育方法是不是能够支撑我们现在经济发展模式。那其实我们知道，我们现在衡量所谓的人类发展、人类进程，相当多时候都是使用 GDP 这个数据，但是这个 GDP 的数据跟方法是来自1930年。可能或许是有点比较早之前。那未来我们持续的经济发展，是不是会对我们的经济、对我们的环境带来一定的限制，进而其实这个 GDP 的方式在21世纪其实是已经不受受用的呢？
Young people can understand the negative impact of the pollution, can have their health and their very existence in the future. We all must acquire attitude, knowledge and skill to solve the problem that keep up to date and rapid advance in practicing practically all branches of technology. Traditional learning environment may not fully address this issue. I believe that to change behavior and favor in an integration of a new concept and value, learner would benefit from experiential learning within a socio-constructivist approach. Following them will observe, reflect, compare, research, experiment, all activities that are not often integrated sufficiently into traditional choice, such as learning by the heart and control approach, that there is one educator who knows and talks, and the learner who does not know and listens.
首先，在此我们很高兴看到许多青年朋友出现在这边。那其实青年朋友们都知道，所谓的污染对我们的人类社会及健康以及我们的未来带来多大的威胁。我们因此呢，必须学得相关好的态度以及好的专业知识来解决我们未来以及现在的问题，并且我们有能力呢，我们也必须要学到相关的能力来运用现在发展快速的相关科技。那其实我们可以认知到，现在传统的学习环境可能无法很快的去解决这个问题。另外，我本人也深相信呢，改变行为，或者是整合新的概念、新的价值，通过这些方式呢，学习者可以从中受益。他们可以用实验室的学习方法，透过一个社会建构式的方法，来让他们彻底去观察、反思、比较、研究或者是实验，来各式各样的活动。那其实我们可以想象到，现在如今传统教堂当中，一个老师讲话，比较一群人学习，比较少看到这一类的集体性的良好的学习活动。
What strategy we should will depend on what answer we give to this question. Should education have a mission of awakening capacity in people for sustainable future, or should it stand to set the boundary of what should be and should not be learned for the imperative continuation of the status quo? The question is whether the world environmental problem will become resolved in present way of our choice, or in present ways not for our choice, is very much based on our vision, attitude, value, wealth, as well the way we carry life, improving ethic effectiveness, working for the future sustainable democratic society based on human rights. We cannot exclude those who have not a stake in education from elaborating the decision to be taken and implemented. Effective because reform will only lead to the real change, and they are supported and carried by involved when we all feel that they have responsible part to play and can co-create the future.
我们需要采用什么样的策略来给出相关的环境、相关的永续的答案？教育所扮演的任务是否是唤醒人群，并且让他们知道永续未来的重要性，或者教育是一个设下限制，让他们知道说什么该学，什么不该学，或者我们要深思所有的策略是应该教育策略是应该如何。其中问题，我们心智的问题，应该是我们全世界的环境问题是否要透过什么样的方式来解决？我们是要透过良好的、愉悦的方式，就是告诉大家说我们应该做什么样的好的选择，还是以透过限制甚至是惩罚的方式来让大家知道说什么该做，什么不该做？因此，这些都取决于我们要用正确的愿景跟态度的方式来持续我们的生活，并且灌输教育的方式，灌输良好的道德伦理，并且禁止以此透过一个永续以及民主的社会，然后并且以这一些都是以人权为基础。另外，在讨论这些议题的时候，我们绝对不能将那些在全级教育工作者当中的相关的人群排除在外，因为我们必须要透过他们的力量来让他们发起变革，因为唯有发起变革，我们才能带动相关的永续改变。透过这些永续改变的支持，我们可以让所有的相关的参与者参与当中。但是之后，让参与者才可以透过这些方式，他们才知道说他们有责任去扮演相关重要的角色，然后我们才可以一起共创相关的美好未来。
So my last point for environmental education that is very much relating to change. Change is not the work of one person or one institution or one law. Change is a process in which many people and institutions are involved to the action and the absence thereof the size of the opportunity to contribute. Change in the education is a shared responsibility in all of those who have a stake in its learner, parent, teacher, trainer, school, higher education, education policy maker, teacher association, and so on. So it is really a time that when we are conducting environmental education, we really have to ask ourselves what really change we are promoting. Are we promoting the change moving forward, sustainable verticality? So thank you very much.
关于改变呢，对我来说，环境教育就是带动改变。能带动改变，并不只是一个人、一个机构跟法律所能带动的。改变是一个过程，在这当中，许多人，包括我们与许多机构，都要参与当中，通过他们的行动来去把握住良好的机会，并且来发起改变。教育在过程当中也是一个共享的机会，可以让我们有责任，让所有参与者，包括学习者、父母、教师以及教师的训练人员、学校、高等教育以及教育政策以及教育协会等等，都要参与相关的教育当中，一起让我们推动改变。谢谢大家。